Yo, welcome to Icytwat type beat tutorial. So today I'm gonna show you how to make one. Uh, this is not like the most typical iconic Icytwat sound, but like almost. So yeah, let's get into it. So I got 4 melody parts. Compared to my Chief Keef beats, this is a lot less melody parts, and I've used like Nexus and Purity. So let's get into it. So first of all, we got the choir, which like the layers are kind of unorthodox, or like where the keys hit. Like usually Icytwat pattern would look like this. Wait. Like this. So it's like 2 3 2 3, like spaces. Like this will basically always sound good, and this is how I started out as well when I made this beat. But then I like did some like unorthodox placements of the keys, but it sounded good because this with this like pad or like choir, it sounded nice. So it sounds like this. Yeah, so I wanna get that divine feel with this beat, or like holy like. So what I've done is like I placed the 5 notes first, like this, and played around with the position. So I wanted it to go lower, then a little bit higher, and then back to the low again. And what I did then, I placed notes above it all to have those like choir sounds that stands out. And to build off of that, this is already a sound that takes up a lot of place, but I continued anyways to add strings. But as you can see, it's only 3 notes instead of 5, because this takes up so much space, the strings, but it adds to the fullness of the sound. So this is how it sounds. Yeah, so what I did with those, I just placed them like on the choir notes. Like, I think one was E5, A4, and G sharp 5. Because I don't want it, as I said, to hit on all 5 notes, because it will be too much. And then I added like some plucked melodies, which I also, because I have split everything now, but before I split, you can see your other melody parts on the piano on piano roll when you're building your melody. So I placed these keys on like the choir and the strings where they hit, so it sounds good. Yeah, so yeah, Icytwat also uses a lot of plucked sounds and piano, and sometimes bells as well. So I added a couple of bells here. Sounds like this. Yeah, so the bells are not hitting as often as the plucked ones, because the plucked ones are um, the main melody part for short hits like the bells and plucked. So if the choir and strings is in one category to build on like an ambience feel, and the plucked and the bells are to add like a certain type of vibe to the beat. Anyways, and then I instead of a let's see, yeah, instead of a clap and like snare hitting on different times, I added 2 snares that hit on the same time. So they sound like this by itself. Yeah, so and then the other ones sound like this, same pattern. And when you play them together, they sound like this. So yeah, they hit quite hard. And what I did with those, as you can see here, like I placed them on the basic spots, like every other here, and then in between I placed a couple of like not so common hits, if you know what I mean. Like they're not on the standard spot of claps and snares, and it sounded good. So, and then I added a kick which has a lot of bass to it, which I layered then with an 808 that has a lot of sub bass but not as much bass, because they almost cancel out each other if they're both rich in the same frequency, if you know what I mean. So the kick sounds like this. Yeah, so Icytwat likes to use a lot of kicks in some of his beats, and this is the pattern for it. When I've already placed out my snares, it's easier to find the kick pattern. So I just played around in here and compared it to the snares, because you will see your own snares out here as well as I see the kicks. If I change to the snare, this is the snare would come up here. I don't know really why it's. Maybe it's because it's over here. Yeah, exactly. So before you split, it will be much easier for you to see where your drums and melody parts are. So yeah, that's a kick. Then I had an 808. Let's go to that. It doesn't hit. It hits on the kicks, so I would go here and place it where the kick we're hitting, but not on all kicks. Just some kicks, because yeah, otherwise it will be too clogged. So, and this sounds like this. Yeah. So it doesn't hit on every kick, but it hits on a lot of kicks where it sounds good. You will feel that when you make your own beat. So you will like see where it hits good and not. So then I added a hi-hat. So what I did with the hi-hat, I went in here. I right click this, and then it says fill each 2 steps. But then so it will look like this, like for the all of it. But then I removed some hits and added some. And if you go into in here, you can see like these are the when it's like fill each 2, and then here I removed one, removed a couple, added like a roll, used control U. You mark it like this, then control U, and it sounds like this. Yeah. And then I had I just told you sometimes it uses a lot of plucked sounds. So what I have here is like a cave sound instead of like a crash or something to introduce the bar. Sounds like this. Yep. Oops. And then I added a cowbell as well, which hits at the beginning. So as I said, before you split your beat, these won't be like split, as I said, so you will see like everything that you place out as keys here, you will see them together, so you don't need to worry about like how do I find my snares when I'm doing my kick. Like you will see them where they are, so no problem. And then I added a volume fader, like automation clip. You just go here into the mixer, then you press the master, right click, and create automation clip. But you gotta choose where you want that to be too. So you gotta like mark it in here, like where you want it to be. So, and for the let's go to the mixing. So the mixing is quite simple. What I did in the mixer is I went first to the master, added a soft clipper for it not to clip, and then added Maximus. What this does is like it increases the volume. What you will hear is like it increases the volume of everything. But I use this to get an easier way to mix, so I can hear more the more different volumes, basically, more easy. So you go to this arrow and you click presets, mastering, and master aid 1, and that's when you will hear the loudness will increase. So for the melody parts, I only add an EQ and EQ as much bass as possible. But these ambience rich sounds that fill up a lot of space, they often use quite a lot of bass. So mix away as much bass as you can, but not but if it sounds bad, then add a little bit of bass again. Yeah, so do the EQing. You wanna take out as much bass as possible for the sounds. What you can do is you press this arrow down here and then enable heat map, and you will see where the most frequencies are in the sound. And why I added a reverb for this bell sound is because it was quite empty, like it fell off at once, so I added reverb for it to stay a little bit. So for the drums, for everything except the perks and kick in 808, I have this. So I have EQ, take out much bass as possible, then a fruity stereo enhancer. And what you do is you turn the volume knob to max, so it will be like here, but you turn it down over here, so it will be even louder. And then you can mix it. Yep. So I'm tripping. Alright, yeah, for the kick in 808 I had a EQ, so this is the kick. I want it to be rich in bass in this frequency, but I don't want it to be that rich in sub bass because that's the 808's position. So I take out a lot of sub bass for the 808, but I add a lot of bass. And I add the difference is that I also add a soft clipper to the kick in 808. And here's the 808. You see, I take out a lot of bass, but I add a lot of sub bass for it to be rich in that. And for the perks, I usually don't do anything. I just fix the volume, and then this is how it sounds. So what I heard is that the shunt was a little bit too high and like the plucked and bells were quite low in volume, so I might need to change that. But yeah, when you build your beat, you can choose how long intro you want, but I usually don't have it like too long. And so what I did, I built this, and so for the main part of the beat, and then I made a verse, and then I copy paste the first beat over here again, and then I added an ending. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and that you learned something from it. Take care.